सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Yesterday we were in the 12th shloka, page 204. Natvevaaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadhipaha न चैव न भविष्यामः सर्वे वयमतः परम्। न त्वेवाहं जातुनासं न त्वं न इमे जनाधिपाः न चैव न भविष्यामः सर्वे वयम अतः परम। Those extra sounds are not my production. There is never a time in the past nor a time in the future, because the present moment is already included, where from the standpoint of that jiva they cease to exist. What perishes, what changes is only at the physical form alone. That which is born will die. So the body is born, the body dies. But that which is enlivening the body, that continues to persist. There is no cessation of that being. It will exist. Because one of the major factors is, if I indulge myself in this war, all these are respect-worthy people, what will happen to all of them? Is that body, one way or the other, will perish. Because that which is created will be destroyed. But that which is enlivening, that continues. Arjuna, you should not worry about it. Just to make that particular logic even more profound and stabler, Bhagavan takes an example. And that example is taken in the next shloka, page 208. Dehi nosmin yatha dehe Kaumaram Yavanam Jara Tadha Dehantara Praptihi Dhirastatra na Mukhyati. The example that is taken is of each one of our experience. Each one of us, when we are born, we are of an amazingly small size to what we have grown up to be today. Proportionality wise, it's really very small, that you can put both hands together and that little baby is just about fitting in there. As soon as the child is born, all the visitors, guests, they give gifts, they give clothes, and with these clothes, there is something strange that happens. Somehow, within 3 months, the Indian mindset is so beautiful and cute. They draw the attention to the clothes rather than to the individual, that child. And they say, "Kapade chote ho gaye." How come suddenly the kapada becomes chota? The kapada has been the same. Even if it is a new cloth that has been stitched and given, at the most in 1 wash or 2 washes, it will shrink a very minuscule level. After 3 months, suddenly the kapada becomes chota. Just so that those who are onlookers, their drishti is taken away from the child to the clothes, so that there is no drishti dosha. But actually what has happened? We start growing exponentially. The child starts growing exponentially at a very fast pace. So the little fellow, helplessly lying down, suddenly by 3 months he has grown big. Before you realize, has become a toddler who is running around here and there. One thing still surprises me. Their relationship with eating and the output of the chaos that they can create, it is inversely proportional. They don't seem to eat well, but yet have so much of energy that they can run around all day long. And then suddenly crash. Now the child grows. Now the child is no more a toddler. He has become Bala. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam. The next stage that comes is a teenager. Jara. Jara means old age. Each phase there is their own category of behavioral patterns. Up until that they are in the Bala Avastha, everything that happens in their life, they have to come and share with you. Mama, do you know what happened today? It may have been a small incident, but their narration, it takes hours. And if you have such child, enjoy and cherish. Because right after that comes the age wherein they stop sharing. They stop confiding in you. And that is when we start seeing quite a chemical change in them. And that chemical change transforms a boy into a man, a girl into a woman. Suddenly you see that up until then the parents must have been telling, keep your shoes properly, clean your shoes properly, keep your clothes properly, wear ढंग के तो पहनो कभी कपड़े. Suddenly, without you prompting, they seem to be very much interested. What kind of shoes they wear, what kind of clothes that they wear, what kind of hairstyle that they maintain, which is very well captured in Bhaja Govindam. Balastavat Krida Saktaha, Tarunastavat Taruni Saktaha, to impress the opposite gender. Vruddhastavat Chinta Saktaha. When you become old, you are now bound with worries about everything. Guruji puts it very beautifully. There are 3 words, and these 3 words are repeated all through the age, and how they repeat it, the sequence of these 3 words, you can understand what age group they belong to. When they are very young, Bala, they are inquisitive, interested about everything and anything. So their constant question to the parents and elders is, tell me why. Why does the bird fly? Why is the sky blue? Why is the grass green? I mean, all kinds of peculiar questions they keep asking. Tell me why. Once you come to understand that they have come to the age where they can flip the books and read, you buy the entire encyclopedia set and give it to them and say, you go figure why. Tell me why. Now next comes the Tarunastavat Taruni Saktaha age, where they think they know everything, because there is a bug that has already caught on them. I call this bug as IKEA bug. What is IKEA bug? I know everything anyway. मुझे सब मालूम है. Therefore, when any advice is given to them, their attitude is in the same 3 words scrambled. He will look at the parents and say, why tell me? First stage was, tell me why. The second stage, why tell me? Now comes the third stage. Vruddhastavat Chinta Saktaha. There's so many regrets, there's so many things that have been missed, there's so much of burden, load that is being carried, that everything that happens, the only question that that individual has is, tell, why me? So for the last category, if you have already started asking these questions irrespective of the age, you have already become Vruddha. Because your chinta is, tell, why me? In the Yavana, the kid has so much of audacity that one parent wanted to tell that kid, कि बेटा, kindly reform yourself. These are not the ways of life. So he went to the son and said, son, I need to talk to you about life. The son, not even picking his head up from the computer, he says, pull along a chair, dad. Tell me what is your problem. Meaning what? I know everything, I can have a solution for everything. I can solve your problems as well. बालस्तावत् क्रीडासक्तः, तरुणस्तावत् तरुणीसक्तः, वृद्धस्तावत् चिन्तासक्तः, कौमारं यौवनं जरा, देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे, कौमारं यौवनं जरा. Have we not gone through all these different experiences? And having grown to whatever age that we have reached, what is the best age that you are nostalgic about? You reminiscent about? So many songs. हम भी अगर बच्चे होते, नाम हमारा होता डब्लू बबलू. Because the most enjoyable state of life is when we were young. No cares about anything in life. No responsibility on the shoulder. But alas, when do we realize it? After we have reached to the Chinta Sakta age. That is when we look back and think around and say, that was such a beautiful age. We were so carefree. So our own experiences have been the proof that I was of one size with certain experiences, have gradually grown. I may not, because I may see myself daily into the mirror, I may not see changes. But when somebody sees you after a couple of years, immediately they say, you have changed. You have changed. There is somebody very beautifully said, don't eat that which you are not ready to wear. Meaning what? All that which we eat, we start wearing different layers of tears. Changes happen. Physically, up until one age, we grow on the y-axis. After that, we start growing in x-axis. Don't worry, even round is a figure, actually a complete figure. Physically, we change. Emotionally, also we change drastically. Up until certain age, we seek certain validation, sense of security from others. And suddenly the gear shifts, wherein instead of seeking that validity and security in others, you end up being the one that has to guide with your validation, that has to provide that sense of security, that has to provide a sense of stability to the people around you. To that very people that had provided you the sense of security, you end up being the one that has to provide that security to them. Our own experiences have been a proof of that. Emotionally, we change. Intellectually, those ideas constantly change. Ask a small kid, what do you want to become? It's an idea, right? So whoever has impressed that child at that particular age, that is what they would say immediately, that I want to become that. In our Balavihar class, one young mother, first child, came very seriously, Swamiji, I need to talk to you. So what happened? I think you have to speak to my child. And the child was 4-year-old, not even 4 years. I said, why are you so, anxiety ridden? What has happened? This is, my son wants to be the dumpster cleaning truck driver. We have lots of hopes. We have lots of hopes that he will one day become a doctor or an engineer or some kind of an entrepreneur. Dumpster truck driver? I am disappointed. Where am I going wrong? So I gave that child few chocolates and a ball. I said, go outside, play in the ashram. Amma, use it. The trouble is not with your child. The trouble is with you. Probably at that age, that dumpster truck, when it comes, it has so many moving parts, limbs. It lifts that, the trash can, puts it, and that fellow is operating all of it. There is so much of power in it. So he also wants to be someone that can operate and manage all of that. What attracts him is the moving limbs. I was in near Delhi a long time ago. So in a Balvihar camp. So I asked the kids, what do you want to become? This is 5th, 6th grade. So the kid says, I want to become a bus conductor. Very clear idea. I said, why? I'd like to know. He said, he has all the power. With one whistle, he can stop the car. With 2 whistles, he can make the bus move. And when somebody is sitting in a wrong seat, he has the capacity to just flip his finger and say, move to the next seat. And people listen to him. I want to have that kind of power. Then comes the certain age wherein invariably every child thinks that I want to be a teacher. Somebody must have touched their heart. Somebody must have inspired them that there is this genuine, amazing person. I want to be like that person. And that person happens to be a teacher. Therefore, I also want to be a teacher. Then comes the age wherein you have to go through several entrance exams. I think this is the season right now for those entrance exams. And then get into, there are also categories. With donation, without donation, with recommendation, without recommendation. So you finally land a seat. You study and struggle for 4 years, 5 years, however the case may be. Then you understand, up until now, I had wrongly defined what struggle meant. Because struggle begins then. You may have studied any kind of engineering. It was amazing when I was in US. I said, everybody is a software engineer. Indian especially. I said, what was your basic education qualification? Civil engineer, architecture. And what are you doing? Coding. You had a certain idea when you took that course. You finished that course in all its glory. And now you are a software engineer. Struggling in that software engineer, being that software engineer, trying to make the ends meet. Then you see the next ideas change. That this is not sufficient, there is no lateral growth. Therefore now, I would like to do part-time MBA. So that I can shift from being somebody that writes the code, I can now take into administrative, managerial roles. There is growth. Ideas change. Emotions change. I mean, these change on a minute by minute basis. On an hourly basis, these keep changing. But in and through all these changes, there is one entity which has enabled our memory to put together all these experiences and call it as my life. That entity has not changed. If you go into the biology part of it, they say that our entire body, from the bone marrow to the skin, changes. Everything is overhauled in 7 years' time. At a molecular level, they have changed. So that which I was carrying 7 years ago, I am not the same. But there is something that continues to. That reminds me, in our house we used to have a cycle, a very prized possession. Why? Dadaji ka cycle. For namesake, it is Dadaji ka cycle. Tires have been changed. Spokes have been changed. The rim has been changed. The chain has been changed. The handle has been changed. The seat has been changed. Virtually, practically, every limb and part has been changed. But to name it, it is Dadaji ka cycle. There is nothing of what he has used remains. Similarly, in this body, mind and intellect, everything constantly changes. But there is somebody that is connecting all the dots of every single experience in claiming that this is my life. That entity doesn't change. Just like when a river flows, you never see the same waters twice. It keeps flowing. For that constant flow to happen, there has to be a sturdy base, a canal in through which it can flow, it can get channelized. That substratum which does not change, supporting all the changes. That principle of life, that which enables the body, mind and intellect to function in its field of functionality, that has remained constant, that has remained unchanging. Because of whose presence I can connect and recognize all the different formats of changes. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tatha dehantara praptihi dhirastatrana mukhyati. Similarly, taking it one step after jara, because up until then, toddlerhood comes, it goes. Childhood comes, it goes. Youthfulness comes, it also goes. Adulthood comes, that also goes. Old age comes, we go. But even in that going, the one who has left the body behind moves on to another setup of this kind of body, carrying this mind, intellect and the impressions to that body, but that continuation still exists. Tatha dehantara praptihi. It continues even after dehantara. That doesn't cease to exist. That is the beauty of the Shastra in the Sanatana versus the other religions and scriptures, where their insistence is that each individual has only one life to live. You make it or break it. One life you got. Depending on what you have done, either you are in eternal heaven or eternal hell. For good. In the Christian thought, they would even say that on the day of, what do you call it? Judgment Day. On the day of judgment, you will be given these bodies back. Therefore, they bury. But my worry is, it will decay. What will be left is nothing. Because after several years, you will not even find the bones. The nature's recycling system takes it over. Whereas in the Shastra, that vichara is beautiful, wherein they say, you continue from this life to the next. And you start where you have left in this life, in the next life, you begin from there on. Just like when you read the book, or till yesterday we were in the 12th shloka. Today where did we begin? From the 13th shloka. Otherwise we would be still in first chapter. Every day that you come, I start with Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre. Just like when the child is learning alphabets, the first day that he goes, he learns A for apple, B for boy, C for cat. The next day, it starts from D. Similarly, this life, whatever has been the experience, it ushers that individual, it ushers that Jivatma to the next set of experiences from there on. Whatever has been left, it continues from there on. Tatha dehantara praptihi. The continuation persists. Knowing this, dhiraha tatra na muchyati, na muhyati. They do not get embroiled in vyamoha. They have grown over that moha, that what will happen to me after this? Because there is continuation, and that continuation doesn't stop. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tatha dehantara praptihi dhiraha tatra na muhyati. You are talking of the continuation, you are talking of the past and present and future. But I am worried more about the present and the different sets of dualities that I face. Sukha, Dukha, Shitoshna, Mana, Avamana. Those are my immediate. How do you show that continuity? How do I handle that? So Bhagavan immediately brings the most beautiful verse. He says, repeat after me. Matra sparshastu kaunteya Shitoshna sukha dukkhadaha Agamapayino nityaha Tan stitikshasva bharata. If we learn, understand and imbibe this one shloka in our vyavahara, we become masters of the situation, and 95% of the stresses in life are handled. Yes, this one shloka can be titled as stress management. Nobody can promise stress-free life. In my first lecture that I attended to Pujya Gurudev, there was a huge gathering in that AV college. And his question was, is there anybody sitting here who can claim that they are stress-free, anxiety-free, problem-free? There must be about 15,000-20,000 people sitting. And he scanned through the entire crowd for about 5-10 seconds. And then in his unique way, throwing his shoulders up, started laughing. I said, thank goodness nobody raised their hand. Otherwise, we would have been attending their funeral. Meaning, up until that moment, there will be stresses, there will be anxiety, there will be situations that will create impact. They will be there. But in spite of its presence, should I go through that impact or not, is a choice that we all can make. Matraha sparshaha tu kaunteya Shita Ushna Sukha Dukkadaha. When our organs of perception, action, when our mind and intellect interacts with the world outside, there will be different variations of experiences in its own polarity. There will be Sukha Dukkha. First is Shita Ushna. Shita Ushna is at the physical level. Sukha Dukkha at the emotional level. Mana Avamana at the intellectual level. Constantly these calculations will constantly be there throughout our experiences. Even in the chair that you are seated right now, if you have come earlier than when I started, what was one thing that you confirmed before you sit? देख के बैठे हो कि नहीं? That there should be a fan. It may not cool down, at least the air will be rotated around so that I don't feel uncomfortable. Shita, Ushna, every single experience. While you are seated, if this camera is coming exactly in the line of vision, so you would the seat that you are sitting, is it comfortable? Not that you have any choice. It is universally the same kind of chair available. So you make to do the only adjustment under the fan or without a fan. Shita Ushna. Sukha Dukkha. What gives me Sukha? What kind of environments give me Sukha? What kind of things give me Sukha? What kind of beings give me Sukha? Whether it is family, friends, or colleagues, or these days I have to also include Instagram followers, X followers, Facebook friends. Those that give me Sukha. And here there is a strange psychology. That which seems to give me Sukha, even if I spend a large amount of time, it seems to go by just like that. But if the environment is not engaging enough, if it seems to be very boring, why? You have liked listening to it. You have forced somebody to tag along with you. When what you seem like it was a joke and you smile and giggle, the person that you have forced to come along with you is looking at you, then looking at me. ये joke था, काहे हंस रहे हैं लोग? I don't know why I am being brought into such environment. Because this is not yielding that Sukha. Instead of being here, I would have been with my friends. I would have watched IPL, or I would have done something else which would seem like meaningful to me because it can yield some sukha to me. One sukha to the other, one sukha to the other, constantly searching, seeking which environment can give me that sukha. And definitely if there is something dukkha. I was at a college. Before I get onto the stage addressing the students, I was asked to sit in the students' bench table. So there on that table, there are different kinds of art forms that you can see on that table. This was not just an art form, it was a carving, proper carving. It was a burial ground with the headstone. On that burial ground there is a stone that is kept. On that stone was etched. They must have used a compass or something, they have etched. This is in memory of all of those students who have to go through this boring English class. Kitna kaide se he has etched that whole thing, expressing his displeasure. Because what do we want? We want all sequences of sukha. Dukkha comes, we would like to avoid it like plague. As quickly as possible, we would try all kinds of jugaad to get out of that dukkha. Shita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha, Mana, Avamana. Here he has said etc. So in that etc. I am including Mana, Avamana. That's a very potent, beautiful word. Mana means respect. Avamana, insult. In a layman's term, translation, that is what it would mean. But the word mana has a beauty to it. The root word for mana is to measure. Therefore, we say parimana. Parimana, the root word again is mana. Mana is to measure. Mana anta kolta. In Telugu, mana, kolata, they are like synonyms. So what is it that we are measuring? Why is the self or the ego taking the measure as its worth or worthlessness? Because each one of us identified with this body, mind and intellect evaluates what is my worth. Physically, how am I? I am tall, I am short, I am handsome looking, I am athletic, various attributes. Whether the world recognizes me like that or not, but I have an evaluation for myself. Physically, how am I? Emotionally, how am I? Intellectually, how am I? Intelligence-wise, how am I? Situation and response to the situation, how am I? An assimilation of all of these ideas, I am measuring my worth. So supposing my measured worth is of this size, and I meet, because not just that I measure myself, the world also is equally measuring me. So when I meet and greet the world around, the world with its own measure comes, and I evaluate how are they measuring me. If it matches, a friendly environment. If what I have measured about myself is this much, and what others are measuring is a little bigger than what I have measured. Feel good. So then I am actually better than what I have imagined myself to be. So far so good. If it matches, it is good. If mine is a little smaller than what they have thought of me and what they are thinking is bigger than mine, that is also happy. The problem comes when their measure is smaller than my measure. The kind of manasika avedana that we go through, because this measure is not matching that measure. Mana, the ego and its measure of its own worth. When it is larger, I feel I am being praised. Who doesn't like the praise? And because it is being praised, I consider that environment as respectfully looking at me. If it is lesser than what I think, then they are insulting me, because the measure doesn't match. There's a constant calculation. How is that person looking at me? How is that person talking to me? Is there a smile? Is there no smile? Is there a genuineness behind that smile? Is it a fake smile? Inside so much of information kachpach happening at every single interaction. There is no, carefree, jovial kind of a mindset. Constantly trying to evaluate. How is the world looking at me? How is the world validating me? Is it according to the norm what I have thought myself to be, or is it something else? And then we extend it one layer further. If the decision that I have taken is accepted by the others who are measuring me, that means they have accepted me, they have accepted the decision, thereby I am extrapolating it as they have accepted me, and because they have accepted me, they have respected me. Now what happens the other way around? If the decision that I say or I make, if that is not accepted, then the decision is rejected, thereby the extension is I am rejected, thereby the conclusion is I am disrespected. నేను చెప్పిన మాట వినడా, मैं जो बोलता हूं नहीं करता, तो मैं अपना सर कहां लगाऊं? अपने कंधों पर. But then the conclusions are so drastic because I am identified with that layer. So in all these layers, there is a constant calculation that it keeps happening, which is with regards to sukha dukkha, sitoshna, mana vamana, matraha sparshastu kaunteya. The organs of perception, action, mind and intellect, sparsha, it is touching the world around, constantly seeking sukha dukkha, sitoshna, mana vamana. We are running from one pole to the other. But what is the beauty of every single experience? Thank goodness, none of these experiences are permanent in nature. The famous statement of Puja Gurudev, even this shall pass. Nothing stays permanent. In Texas, where I lived earlier, there they say, if you don't like the weather, wait for 15 minutes. It will drastically change. From a hot summer, 35 degrees Celsius, it will drop down to sub-zero. I went into a university, gave a talk, came outside, I was wearing these kinds of clothes. from getting out of the gate to the car where I had to go sit. It was like a penance. It was such nerve-chilling cold. Suddenly it had dropped. So is the internal weather. It doesn't stay permanent. Constantly it keeps changing. All experiences have to flow out. Nothing stays permanent. So with this kind of impermanency of all these experiences, what should be one strategic mindset which will keep us afloat, not impacted by it with every single twist and turn of experience? There Bhagavan says in the last sentence of this shloka, Tan titikshasva bharata. Towards these experiences of life, develop titiksha. Let me introduce two words. One is called tapasya, the other is called titiksha. Tapasya is that where you invoke certain inconvenience on yourself and have the fortitude to follow through it until you reach to a certain goal. If you ever have gone to a gym, not to watch others, but to actually lift those weights, do those machines, you would understand that it is not an easy joke. Just for the show, you can say, I can lift it. Yeah, you can lift it. Can you lift it repeatedly? That is the question there. Because after 3 or 4 or 5 times that you lift the weights, from the 5th time onwards, every single bone, every single muscle, every single nerve in that particular muscle group will start voicing its opinion. And technically the gym goers use the word, they say it is, you feel the burn. Your muscles feel as though it is burning from inside. Most of us, it is at that time that we drop. Bahut ho gaya. Bas. But the actual exercise starts from there on. That you are now putting the body in that kind of discomfort. You are volunteering yourself to continue it, go through that burn, so that the muscle grows, shapes up, the fat burns. Tapas. In the religious terms, there used to be this every Friday that the women would not eat anything sour. कुछ तो करते थे वैसे. You remember? संतोषी माँ व्रत. हाँ. Different names, same concept. Santoshi Vrat, wherein nothing sour. You like sour. But then you have chosen to not indulge in sourness for one day, the entire day meals. Actually, they have devised to make more tastier things than regular for that one particular day. Sabudana khichdi, sabudana vada, different kinds of payasam, vada, different varieties of vada, vedu vada, masala vada. Sour should not be there. The rest of it, how do you do one whole day? There is so much to enjoy. But that is also tapas. There are those who take the tapascharya. One day of the week, I will not speak. Maunam. Ayyo, you don't need any Cartoon Network or anything hilarious on the TV just to watch them. Because they have taken the Maunam, they have taken the Vrata that I will not speak. But they are most agitated on that one particular day. And as kids, as I was growing up, if I had anyone who had that Mauna, they were my targets. हाँ? क्या बोल रहे हो? समझ नहीं आ रहा. I used to understand it, but just to taunt them, tease them. They have taken the vrata of not speaking. That is also a tapas. Then there are those that we hear of the rishis and great Muni and Rishi, where they would sit in absorbed in meditation for days together, such a way that the ants have developed a whole system around them. Ratnakara was later known as Valmiki because of the ant hill that grew on him. Ant hill in Sanskritam is Valmika. That who was now changed, transformed through the Valmika, therefore he was called Valmiki. Tapascharya. If you go to the Kumbh Mela, you see people lying on thorns, bed of thorns. One little speck somewhere pokes us, we get up and we say something is poking here and we want to get it out. They are sleeping on bed of thorns. Tapas. This is something that which I am invoking at my volunteer decision to go through the inconvenience to reach to a certain goal. Titiksha, on the other hand, is unlike tapasya, wherein I have the forbearance to go through the ups and downs of life with equanimous mind. Usually, titiksha is defined and translated as that which cannot be changed has to be endured. Titiksha means endurance. I like to add an extension to it. That which you know cannot be changed, don't just endure it, find a way to humor yourself through it. I'll give you an example. Probably I have given this example earlier. In Hanuman Chalisa talk, I'm sure I've given this. We were in a Balavihar camp. There were about 150, 200 students. There were about 25 volunteers. 3 of us, brahmacharis and swamis. All 3 brahmacharis and swamis were sitting in the end. This is after the whole day has been done. In the evening, there is a bhajan and arati session. So for that, we were sitting at the way end. The volunteers were in the front. That day, a lady, a very good singer, was invited to sing bhajans so that the kids also can repeat it along with them. And this Amma that was invited was a professional Hindustani singer. She sat down, got her harmonium out. To set that harmonium into her shruti itself took 4 or 5 minutes. Now the kids are between the age group of 3rd grade till 6th grade. Fidgetiest most. So that 3-4 minutes when she was trying to settle her harmonium, one was pulling the other fellow's hair, the other fellow was poking somebody else. There was all kinds of restlessness that you could imagine. And then finally she starts singing. She says that Prema Mudita Manaseka. And she starts it in the most Shastriya note. But the third, fourth, fifth, sixth grade students, you don't have to display your Shastriya knowledge on them. All the nuances. And then she said, Prema Mudita, and that too in a slow pace. Man se kaho Ram Ram Ram, Shri Ram Ram Ram, Shri Ram Ram Ram. The kids would say the first word and the last word. Everything was in a synchronized chaos. And the kids did not have the opportunity to run out. Why? In the front door, there were the volunteers seated. In the back door, it was we Swamis and Brahmacharis who were seated. They were captured crowd. So the restlessness had increased even further. Amidst this chaos, there was a kid who was sitting right in front of me. I caught that he was doing something, it caught my attention. So I slowly moved myself so that I can have an angle of viewing at what that kid is up to. I was expecting some masti. So as I shifted my angle and started looking at that kid, he had put his leg, one foot on the other. The carpet that he was sitting, he pulled out a thread, nicely twined it together, and every so often he would run that twined thread on his own foot to tickle himself and giggle to himself. Not that he was not paying attention to what was happening. Why? When she again, next round, she started Shri Rama Rama Ram. He turns to his friend and he says, in perfect tune, he turns to his friend and says, this goes on and on and on, on and on and on. That I understood that day as titiksha. Environment that which you cannot run away from, you cannot avoid. It is boring you to death. It is painful for you to go through. And yet you create that environment in such a way that you can endure it while humoring yourself. The best attitude to go through life. That kid refused to allow any frustration to get into him. This is called stress management. There is stress, unavoidable circumstances, and he found a method to humor himself without being a nuisance or disturbance to anybody else. To go through life and the ups and downs of life, Vedanta does not promise that once you learn Vedanta, your life will become one stretch of simple straight line. The doctors will know. When the ECG, you are happy when it goes up and down. If it is a flat line, done. Life is also like that. There is no flat line. There will be ups and downs at the physical level, at the body level, at the mind level, at the intellectual level, at the experiences level, at the memory level. At each level, there will be ups and downs. In spite of those different ups and downs in life, how does one face that, endure it, while you can look at it jovially. The complete mindset changes. You are not looking at life as a burden anymore. Whatever life throws at you, you are looking at it from a perspective that it will not impact and become a burden on myself. We already have done it in our lives. Especially when a parent scolds the child. Initially, the child will be looking here and there, and the famous dialogue from the parent, look at me when I am talking to you. Every parent says it. So now the child has graduated, understands, आज तो मुझे पढ़ने वाली है. So come prepared. And that little face, in all, the puppy face, and looking at the parent, because the parent demands to be looking at the parent. So looking at the parent, listening as though, but then internally, do you know what the child is hearing? Wow, 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 wow. Nothing goes inside. Stress management. As soon as that environment is done, you turn your back and you are heading back to your room. You just shrug it out and move. Has any word impacted you? You have not even allowed that word to come inside, let alone it impact. Meaning, the one who has this high endurance has a very profound, strong filter system in their life. If in your house, by evening, by the time you turn the lights on, each one of us, what do? Close all the doors and windows. Why? Mosquitoes come. Do you all do it? And if you have a mesh door, you first close that mesh door, mesh windows. What are you trying to filter out? Those little irritants. If they come, they will have the capacity to ruin your sleep that night. So what do? Filter them out. And then we go around with a Rakshasa Tandava with that bat. Everybody house has it. And the amount of pleasure that you can see when you hear that chit sound. Got one. Where are the rest? Hunt them down. What are you trying to do? Filter it out. Similarly, when you go through the experience, life will throw at you all kinds of things. Need not be just good, because you claim yourself to be good. They'll be good, they'll be bad, they'll be ugly, they'll be horrifying. Every kind of thing you will be thrown at. What you allow inside is your choice. If the endurance is high, you have already filtered it out. And yet that which cannot be filtered, you know how to humor yourself. With such endurance, you hit a balance inside. And that balance yields fearlessness about life. Come what may. I don't have to shy away from it. I don't have to run away from it. Whatever be the content of that experience, I will know how to face it. I will figure it out. Why? The mind is not agitated. The unagitated mind is available and ready for use into checking into what are the solutions of life. But if the mind is agitated, constantly reminiscing about that agitation itself, simmering on it again and again and again, the mind is occupied, not available to think through solutions. That is when people get caught up in that, stuck in the tape, in a loop. Why did this happen to me? Why did this happen to me? Why did this happen to me only? Why did this happen to me always only to me? We keep repeating it again and again and again. Meaning, titiksha is not established or installed in that individual yet. Whatever we are facing is my own prarabdha in that form. It's my own karma phala in that form which is I am facing. I cannot run away because wherever I go, I am. Therefore, that experience through different sources will again come back to me alone. So stand up, face it here and now, but face it diligently so that it doesn't become a repeatable mode. And that which helps us face it better is called titiksha. Tan titikshasva bharata. Continuing. Yam hi navyathyantyete purusham purusharshapha samadukha sukham dhiram somrtatvaya kalpate. Yam meaning those people that have built their forbearance, their endurance, as indicated in the earlier shloka. Na vyatayanti yete. Do not shiver because of various experiences unfolding in our life, which might bring the polarities of Shita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukha, Mana, Avamana. They are not shaken up by the experiences. They have gained the amazing skill to accept life as is. Now, when I say that they have developed the skill to accept life as is, do not mistakenly put it in the category of being a pessimist. Even when you go to a doctor, they have to first accept the condition that you have come in. And once they accept it, analyze it, then they can give solutions to it. If we are in denial, we are nowhere close to solution. So what is the first step? As and when life unfolds, don't run away because it is your life that you are facing. Your earlier karma unfolds as this karma phala, which happens to be your prarabdha. So it is your life, your experience which is unfolding. So what is the first thing that has to be done? Accept it wholeheartedly, 100%. I call this shloka as 4A principle. In the deck of cards, which is the most powerful combination? The most powerful combination are the aces. I don't understand the game, but I have caught that sentence that when you have a combination of 4 aces or 3 aces, you have the game. Similarly, for the game of life, if you have these 4 aces, you have mastered facing life. First step. As and when the life happens, unfolds, do not reject it, do not revolt against it, do not run away from it. Accept it 100%. Somebody asked me, what if I am not able to accept? Start with the fact that I have to accept that I am not able to accept. There also the first step is accepting. And being or accepting as the things are unfolding is not being a pessimist. It is being a proactive person who has accepted, thereby can think through what next. First you have to accept it, and then the second step that you have to do is analyze it. Not from your earlier experiences clouding upon this experience. That makes us judgmental. Whatever be that earlier experience in that particular environment with that particular individual, that should not cloud us for this moment. Then you will not be doing analysis. You have already pre-decided, you have prejudged it. Thereby you are channelizing the entire experiences into your preconceived mold, and you are now boxing everything into those molds. But instead, it should be from that understanding that there could be n number of factors that it is the same individual, but let me give the opportunity for the entire experience to first unfold. Like going upon the same example that I had taken earlier, that if there is somebody that is forced, dragged into this, why is there a resistance? I have to listen to this for next 1.5 hours. Do I have to? Your friend or somebody that you pulled along just out of courtesy that you have called, they tag along. But they have already put this entire environment in their prejudged notion. Scriptures are Bhagavad Gita. Do I have to? That was some time ago, 5,000 years ago. How will it be applicable today? Days have changed, time have changed, things have changed. How will that be applicable? Why that too? I don't believe in such things. We come with our preconceived notions. Then analysis is not possible. The analytical mind develops only when there is no judgmental quality. Whoever be the person or the environment or the thing that you are interacting, go with the freshness of your mind as it is a new experience unfolding. Give them or that environment the opportunity to unfold completely. Accept it 100%. Without rejecting it, without revolting against it, without running away from it. Then analyze it thoroughly. In the analysis of that situation, your personal coloring to it, the masala and other things don't add. Evaluate it for its standard of what that experience is. How do we become judgmental? Because our perspective to look at it itself will go completely tangential. I'll give you an example. A sharp edged knife, is it good or bad? Majority of the answers that I am hearing is it depends on how we are using it. That means you have not understood the question. The sharp-edged knife is neither good nor bad. It's just a knife and it just is. If you are talking about it depends on who uses it, I did not ask about the intention of the person using it. The question itself was prejudged. It is neither good nor bad, it is just a vastu. And as a vastu, it is harmless, neither good nor bad. Now, depending on who has it in their hand, how they intend using it, whether it is a blessing or a curse, those are all later. Knife doesn't carry goodness or badness. Life also doesn't carry goodness or badness. It is my perspective that makes it good or bad. There is no vastu in this world, no environment in this world that can be branded as good or bad. It is only my mental coloring of the situation which makes it good or bad. Therefore, to help ourselves analyze the situation, never be judgmental. And then analyzing it thoroughly, meaning completeness in our analysis, wherein you have taken a 360-degree angle of perceiving that particular experience and taking all things accounted for. I'll give you an example. Have you ever had an opportunity to shift from one city to the other along with your family and children? Because of job or whatever, you had to move to another place, you had to settle down. Now that it has decided you have been transferred to the next city, you first think through, where should I get the house? What are the different amenities that I am looking for in that house? Is it closest to the children and their school? How far is it for my job? How close are the grocery stores and the other amenities around? How safe is that environment? You look into all possibilities before shifting, before settling in. It is not like I'll go figure it out then. You think through all possible angles of how it will impact, where it will impact, how I can take care of various aspects of it thoroughly. Don't you? Similarly, with each experience, that analysis has to be impeccable. Once the analysis is done, don't start crying foul saying, why is this happening to me? Drop the why. This is happening to me. How should I respond to it? Most of us, without the acceptance, without the analysis, we jump into reactions. And no reaction ever will yield any pleasantness for you or for the environment. So, after having accepted, after having analyzed, then you look for solutions so that you can adapt yourself. The third A, adapt yourself to that environment. And that adaptability ratio should be at the speed with which the experiences are happening, that you should be available, analyze, accept, analyze, and then with solutions adapt to it. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C. Not just Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, as Gurudev would put it. Plan out your actions and work out your plans. Don't just stay again only in the planning stage. You have to continue it to the next executables. What are my skills? What are my talents? What are my resources? And don't ever cut short life by saying, I gave it my best. You giving your best to the situation is not the solution. You have to think through and give the best that the situation is demanding. It's not just about how much you can give. What is the situation demanding? Sometimes I have to give my resources less than what the situation is, because the situation is demanding not my entire power, just a little. Sometimes the situation demands that I have to hold on to some skills, which requires me to be presentable, to be answerable to that particular situation. Enhance your skills. And most importantly, every such interaction will have a result, will have a repercussion. Are you prepared mentally for all the possibilities that it could throw at you? Most of us plan but do not include the results and how I have to prepare myself to face those results. Specifically, those kinds of results which are not favorable. I should have already thought through all of those. Having thus thought through and create that adaptability speed according to the speed of the experience, then act wisely. 4th A. Accept, analyze, adapt, and act wisely. The last point, I still have few minutes. About 95% of our life is constantly on a repeat mode. 95% of our life. Same house, same husband, same wife, same furniture, same route to the job, same route back from the job, same friends, same environments. At the most, you will have 3 to 5 different scenarios that you face on a day-to-day basis. About 10 to 15 people on a day-to-day basis. They are constantly repeating. You know how that environment or the person or the things act, react, respond to what kind of situations. You have had that many repetitions that you should be aware of it. Psychology says that if you repeat something for 21 days, it should become a healthy habit. And for years together, we have been repeating the same pattern. But we have been unconsciously living. We have been dragging our 2 feet through the experience. We are not consciously living. We are not being efficient and effective in dealing with those experiences. If we are not prepped with accept, analyze, adapt, and act wisely with the 95% of our life and experiences which are repeating, that 5%, which however you may be prepared and diligent, you cannot guess how or what will happen. Health, relationships, job, insecurities, what will hit you, you will not be prepared for it. But if for the 95% of life, you are consumed by it, trying to put things together for that 95 which is repeating, that 5% will take you by a shock. If you are prepared for that 95%, that 5% will take you by a surprise and not by a shock. That choice of intelligently living life yields peace in life. Such one who has that established sanctum of peace within alone is qualified for the highest, which is the Amritatva, which is said in the last sentence of the shloka. Without this preparation, dragging ourselves through the experiences, unconscious of our experiences, we expect peace. All that we get is only pieces. We expect bliss. all that we end up enduring is blisters. Now, this is not God ordained. This is not your nakshatras playing role on your head. It is you taking conscious decision and taking life by its horns and molding yourself to face it. It's a personal change that has to be made. That is what Vedanta equips us, each one of us, to face life for. We'll stop here. Continue tomorrow. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.